starting now. This is your local news leader, News 10 ABC in the morning.
State police investigating an incident that left 2 people dead in Duanesburg. I'll have a live report coming up.
A meeting on the controversial Dunn landfill. It happens tonight. Why environmental advocates want the landfill to close.
People need to laugh. People want to laugh. I want to make people laugh. I like to laugh.
We all like to laugh.
Oh, yeah.
Michael Rappaport headed to the Albany Funny Bone this weekend. What we can expect from his performance. He's excited to come to Albany. He's worried about the cold, though, he told me.
Oh, he'll be all right.
He said the cold's different between here and New York City. He's a New York City guy, so.
Tell him to buck up, right?
Yeah.
Ryan had a chance to talk to him. We'll get to that later on. But thanks for waking up with 10. We do have some school delays we need to report for you here. Argyle, Ballston Spa, Broad-Alban, Fonda, Fort Plain, Whitehall.
A lot of
closing
them
their
all
schools.
northern, right? Northern regions there, so.
And that's because in some areas they're seeing the rain, some areas of the north, they're seeing snow right now, right, Jill?
Yeah, there was a defined line really cutting across the state.
Those custom traffic alerts.
We are continuing to follow breaking news for you this morning from late last night out of the town of Duanesburg.
State police confirming 2 people died at the scene of an incident there on Duanesburg Road.
News 10's Jen Seelig live at the scene for us right now. Jen, the road's still blocked off now, right?
Ryan and Christina, yes, that is correct. Part of the road is still blocked off. Details are very limited right now, but what we do know is 2 people are dead, and it's unclear right now if anyone else is injured at this time. But take a look, still a very active police scene here, similar to last night when News 10 was on scene. Police were going in and out of this white 2-story house on Duanesburg Road. Calls came in around 9:15 p.m. That's when police responded to a disturbance at this house. Last night, we saw 1 man taken by a stretcher. Once again, 2 people have died. It's unclear how many others are injured or how many were inside this house at the time. And it's also important to note that law enforcement believe there is no threat to the public. Once again, this is an ongoing, active investigation as I continue to still see police come in and out of those doors of that house. So any new updates, we will bring them to you on air and online at news10.com. Live in Duanesburg, Jen Seelig, News 10 ABC.
All right, Jen, thanks for keeping us informed. Happening today, the East Greenbush Town Board holding a panel discussion on the Dunn landfill and the process for the landfill's permit to be renewed. Environmental advocates calling for the landfill to be closed after the discovery of PFAS chemicals. The landfill's operating permit expires in July. Today's panel begins at 6 at the Red Barn in East Greenbush Town Park. Members of the public encouraged to attend and to participate in the question and answer session that follows the discussion.
Rensselaer County Executive Steve McLaughlin has been indicted on a couple of felony charges in regards to campaign finance law. McLaughlin indicted on grand larceny, false instrument charges. The Attorney General says he funneled money out of his county executive campaign fund in order to pay back a debt owed to one of his staffers. McLaughlin had no comment while walking into the courtroom. The judge ordered his defense team to have their motions filed by January 17th.
Looking ahead, New York hospitals with limited capacity can start limiting non-essential procedures starting tomorrow. The state defines limited capacity as facilities that have below 10% bed capacity or at the State Department of Health's discretion. The DOH says the department or facilities themselves can decide to limit these procedures. Here's a list of the hospitals that, as of last Friday, fall into this category. They include Albany Med, Glens Falls Hospital, Samaritan Hospital, and Saratoga Hospital. The governor's office says these new protocols will be reassessed on January 15th based on COVID data. The office hopes this helps address staffing shortages ahead of the potential spikes in COVID this winter and boost capacity in hospitals. Governor Hochul also announcing that 60 National Guard medical teams will be deployed at various long-term care facilities in New York to help where additional resources are needed.
This morning, 2 rulings by different federal judges have temporarily put a stop to part of President Biden's mandatory COVID vaccine policy.
This is for certain workers, and the rulings come out of the states of Louisiana and Kentucky.
In Louisiana, a judge has blocked the mandate for healthcare workers at hospitals that receive federal funding.
A federal judge pausing the vaccine mandate for federal contractors in Kentucky, Ohio, and Tennessee.
And right now, it's unclear if the rulings will impact the state of New York.
News 10 is working to learn more, and as soon as we have additional information, we'll keep you updated, so stay tuned.
All right, let's get to see the top stories that are trending this Thursday morning.
President Biden expected to lay out a new COVID agenda after the Omicron variant has now been detected here in the U.S. First case coming from South Africa and confirmed in San Francisco from a traveler who had returned from that country 3 days before Thanksgiving.
That person was vaccinated, had not yet received the booster. Authorities say close contacts have been reached and all have tested negative so far.
Dr. Anthony Fauci says the vaccines and the boosters will likely knock down the severity of this variant.
Boosting is really very important because the data that we get on boosting, if you look at the level, for example, of an antibody, a neutralizing antibody, peak following the second dose of a 2-dose mRNA, it's like at this level. If you look at the peak following the third shot boost, it goes way up here.
And it's also important to note that so far, those who are coming down with the Omicron variant, the cases have been mild. CDC directing airlines to provide contact information of passengers from 8 countries in southern Africa, though, as they watch this very closely.
Well, the Oxford community in Michigan coming together last night to remember the loss of 4 young lives in that deadly mass high school shooting. Those who knew the victims lighting candles to represent each life lost. The suspected gunman, a 15-year-old, is in custody and will be charged as an adult.
Alec Baldwin sitting down with ABC News following the deadly shooting on the movie set Rust that killed cinematographer Helena Hutchins. Here's part of George Stephanopoulos' interview with Baldwin.
It wasn't in the script for the trigger to be pulled.
Well, the trigger wasn't pulled. I didn't pull the trigger.
So you never pulled the trigger?
No. I would never point a gun at anyone and pull a trigger at them, never.
The special airs tonight on ABC at 8 p.m.
Well, the MLB's collective bargaining agreement expired overnight. Now, they could be headed to their first work stoppage since 1995. Players' Union wants to see some changes because of declining average salaries. They say the league didn't make any new central economic proposals this week. And there are just 11 weeks until spring training, believe it or not. February 16th that gets underway. So that leaves about 70 days to reach a deal that hopefully will allow for an on-time start to the season.
Well, looking ahead, Michael Rappaport coming to the Albany Funny Bone tomorrow and Saturday. I know you had a chance to chat with him.
I did. Now, you might not know it. He actually started his career as a stand-up, moved out to L.A. at age 19 to do that. But he got into some acting, fell in love with it. I had a chance to speak with him a couple of days ago, leading up to this weekend, and what it's like to be performing in the midst of a pandemic.
You know, pandemic has been, for me, what it's been for everybody else. It's been frustrating. It's been uncertain. It's been fun. It's been, you know, introspective. It's been dark. It's been, you know, it's been everything. People need to laugh. People want to laugh. I want to make people laugh. I like to laugh. And, you know, that's what, you know, the shows are. You know, they're a good time. I like to talk a lot of crap, talk a lot of trash, and, you know, let the chips fall where they may.
If you're familiar with him, he's very outspoken about government and politicians and about the pandemic and how it's been handled. He says his shows are very interactive with the audience as well. He's performing twice Friday night, twice on Saturday night, so be sure to check it out, The Funny Bone, right there at Crossgates. Remember, for more on these stories and latest breaking news, head to our website, news10.com.
Skating into the start of winter.
Empire Skate Plaza reopens tomorrow. Some COVID guidelines you're going to have to follow.
Let's see what you did there. And we're looking back at Governor Hochul's first 100 days in office, what the state's first female governor has accomplished.
You're watching News 10 ABC, your local news leader, with Christina Arangio, Ryan Peterson, Mary Wilson, and meteorologist Jill Swed.